everybody, and welcome to episode 7 of the Wooly Wonderland Podcast. My name is Kristen, and I'm coming to you from New York City. I was blown away again when I looked at my YouTube channel this morning to try to remember what video I was on, and saw that we now have 200 subscribers. So thank you so much for checking out the video series. This is so much fun for me, and I think that with the last video, maybe it's the Rhinebeck traffic or something, a lot more people have found the channel. So thank you so much for checking it out. If you would like to find me elsewhere on the interwebs, I have an Instagram account, Wooly Wonderland, and there's also a ravelry group. So, I post the episodes there, and so if people want to chat about the episodes, they can. And every once in a while, we'll host a contest as well. So I've only hosted one so far, but I feel like now that we have 200 subscribers that I should definitely do one soon. And so I'm going to think about that for sure. So thank you so much for checking it out. These past couple of weeks have been pretty crazy in my life, with work, and I feel like I've had always something to do at night. So I haven't made a huge amount of progress, but I have enough to show you some really cool stuff. I want to start with some FOs, and these FOs are Christmas related. Hooray! If you have watched the podcast before, you know that I love Christmas, and so any crafting for Christmas just fills my heart with joy. So I made some Christmas stockings. I sewed them last weekend. And I sewed these Christmas stockings for my sister and for my brother-in-law. And so I feel like I should go this way. So this is the one that I made for my sister. I've got to iron it out a little bit. But yeah, it's got the trees for the body and then snowflakes for the top of it. I think these are really, really cute. So I went ahead and on Etsy, I ordered a bundle of fat quarters, and one fat quarter is good to make a stocking. And so I actually used the same lining fabric in both of these, and so I was able to eke this out of one fat quarter, and then I had one fat quarter per pattern. And here's the other pattern. It's this like lovely little snowy scene, and I actually really like how on this side the bottom of it turned out with the sleigh pattern, like being at the very bottom with the mushrooms. I think that's super cute. So yeah, these actually were not too difficult to make. I was able to find a printed pattern online, which I will link to in the show notes. The pattern that I printed was a little too skinny. So what I ended up doing was sort of cutting around it about an inch or so to try to make it a little wider. And honestly, if I went back, I think I would make them even wider than they are. They did come out rather tall, which I like, because I figure, the taller and wider it is, the more goodies that you can fit inside. So yeah, I think that you can definitely fit a good amount of stuff in here, but I do wish that they were slightly wider. So yeah, that's what I would definitely recommend, is to make the pattern at least 1.5, maybe even 2 inches wider than it is. But it's pretty cool how these are constructed. So you basically sew it like this. This is the lining on the inside. Sorry, it's a little jumbled up, but basically it has the toe on this side as well. And so you sew it like this as like one long piece, and then you tuck the lining inside of the fabric. So that's sort of the way that they're constructed. And I think they're really pretty. And I also, because I got the bundle of fabric, I am holding on to other coordinating fabrics in other holiday patterns that go with these colors. And so I don't know if they ever have a kid, no pressure, but just in case, I've got some extra fabric that would go really well with these. So the only finishing details that I still need to do are to sew a letter here, which I'm thinking about getting some iron-on letters and then possibly teaching myself applique to sew them on. So I was like a little bit in over my head when I was doing this last weekend, so I was like, I'm just going to do the basic patterning and figure out the letter later on. I'm sure that I can find some kind of tutorial. Also, some of you have linked me to some awesome craftsy classes, so thank you so much for that. And I also want to add a little hanger doodle over here so you can hang it on the fireplace. So yeah, these were my sewing. This is my sewing progress, and I'm really happy with the way they turned out. I think they're really sweet, and I think that my sister and my brother-in-law will really like them. So, yay, Christmas! So those are my FOs. I don't have any knitting FOs this week because, just because I've been knitting on a sweater, and because life has been a little crazy. So let me show you my knitting works in progress. And I'm so excited about this sweater. So, you guys saw that last week for Rhinebeck, I got this lovely yarn from Miss BabsYowza in the colorway Old Gold. And so now I've got my Old Gold sweater in progress. And so this is the back piece of the sweater, and this is the Birch Bay pattern by Hoover. And so you've got these little golden leaves. So yeah, as you can see, this pattern definitely requires a lot of concentration. So I've made an okay amount of progress, but not a huge amount. And things are falling out of my hands. So each of these cables is actually a one-stitch cable. So if you've done cables before, you know usually you're moving over like 2 or 3 stitches, but actually with all of these cables, you're only moving over 1 stitch, putting 1 stitch on the needle, knitting 1, and then knitting the other. So it does feel a little bit fiddly after a while, but I love the way that it's turning out. It's like a perfect autumnal sweater. I'm sure I won't finish it in time for it to be, towards the end of November. I know that December is technically fall too, but it doesn't feel like fall to me. But anyway, yeah, this is lovely, and it feels really super soft too. So yeah, I actually had to go up a needle size to get gauge, which is weird because I'm a loose knitter, but that's okay. I was a little worried that it was going to come out too loosey-goosey, but I think it's okay. Sometimes, if you can see through the cables, I don't love that. But I think if it's against my body, it's not a big deal. So, and yeah, I really like the color of it. And it is a fun knit, even though it does require some concentration. So this pattern, without giving too much away, is made in pieces and then seamed together afterwards. So, a lot of people don't like that because they like to just sort of knit it in one straight shot. But I think that they hold up better when you do seam them together. I made a pattern last year, the Hauser sweater by Brooklyn Tweed, that seamed together. And that is the sweater that's held up the best, I think, of all the sweaters that I've knit so far in my knitting career. So yay, golden leaves. It looks like a cowl when I do this. Yeah, I got a little leafy cowl now. I can just stop right here. I'll just forget the sweater. It's fine. So yes, this is my Old Gold sweater, and I love it so much, and it's so pretty and autumnal and magical and everything that I love. So anyway, guys, I have 2 works in progress today. I know, count them 2. I never have more than 1 because too many whips make me anxious. Oh, but today I do have my Christmas socks. Yay! I just started these last night, so there's very little progress on them, but they're so cute. Oh, it's funny. I actually I knit these in the dark last night, and so I actually haven't seen how they're coming out. So I'm just looking at it for the first time with you. So it's kind of cool how this the darker / brighter, the darker reds and greens are sort of striping together, and then the more lime red and green are sort of sticking together too. I don't know what you would call that. It's sort of this like zigzaggy thing. So here's the yarn for the Christmas socks. So yeah, I'm hoping to, these are just plain vanilla socks. I've been using the Knitmore Girls vanilla sock pattern. And so I just made a 2x2 cuff. I'm going to do some stockinette stitch. I don't know, maybe 4 inches. I want some long socks for these. Usually I do like the shorty socks. Usually I do like the short socks, but I feel like for Christmas socks you want to have like long, pretty, fun socks. And so that's sort of my philosophy. And if I have extra yarn, maybe I'll make short Christmas socks for Charlie. But I want to talk a little bit more about Christmas crafting. So I am planning to make Christmas pajama pants for Charlie and I. So I'm still sort of looking around for fabric for that, but I think that's going to be my, my Christmas sewing project. I did find some really cute fabric that I loved from Spoonflower. And if you don't know the website, it's basically a website where you can get like custom fabric made. And so people have put like really cute fabric patterns up there. And Charlie loves bears. And so I found these like adorable Christmas bears, but it is a little expensive. And I don't know if I want to spend a good amount of money just on pajama pants. And so I'm sort of keeping my eye open for a really cute Christmas fabric that would be good for pajama pants. I don't really remember having Christmas pajamas. Maybe I did a few years when I was growing up, but I want Christmas pajamas now. I want to wear them all December and on Christmas morning, and I think that would be super fun. If you can't tell already from the podcast, I love Christmas. I planned out pretty much my entire December of like all the activities that I'm gonna do, the parties we're gonna throw, like everything. It's all set and ready to go, so I'm excited for that. The other thing that I really want to make for Christmas is I want to knit some coffee sleeves. And so where I work, like in the immediate office that I'm in, there's 5 other people. So like I'm in the web development team, and then there's also the IT guys, and so there's like 6 of us all together. So I thought I'd make like 5 little coffee cup cozies for them. There's some really cute patterns on Ravelry. There's like cabled ones. There's the one that has like the little owl patterns on it. So I think I'm gonna go do some like stash diving. This is the motion for stash diving. Imagine if you were just like swimming through all your yarn. That would be my fantasy. Woo, guys, it's a little early on Monday morning, and I haven't had my cup of coffee yet, and I'm just like feeling a little loopy. So sorry if I'm making strange metaphors, I guess. So anyway, yeah, so those are the 2 Christmas projects that I really want to work on, the pajamas as well as the coffee cup sleeves. The other, you know what, let me show you just like a little project that I did. So I've also been working on some mending because of somebody who shall remain nameless, Dottie. I had these little harvest mice, these little autumnal mice that I made last year. And this is a pattern by Alan Dart, and Alan Dart makes the cutest little stuffies imaginable. He has he has a lot of patterns of like little Dickensian Christmas mice, but really any animal that you can think of, Alan Dart has like the most adorable pattern for it. So these are my little harvest mice, and this guy is called Crabapple Charlie. So yeah, he's got the little apples. And I forget, this is like blackberry something, I don't know. But she's got like a little floppy hat, and she actually also has a basket, but I didn't bring it over. But yeah, this is like a perfect little stash busting project, and I just thought that they were really cute for autumnal decorations. But last year, around this time, round about November, I come into, so these are up on a little shelf, and I guess this gentleman had fallen off the shelf, and so I came into the room, and Mr. Mouse had no nose, and the stuffing was all over the floor, and there was only one possible culprit. So yeah, I recently fixed up this little mouse, and I really just, I didn't even look at the pattern again. I was just like, decrease the stitches until there's a few left, and then tie it off, whatever. But yeah, so I just want to show you guys that I did a little mending on these guys. I also mended a couple of hats that I made in the last few years, which I've been putting off for a while. I actually made my friend Seth a hat when he was like deployed in Afghanistan, like many years ago, like I don't know, 2006 or 7. And he loved the hat that I made for him, but then the like top of it ripped a couple of years ago, and so it's literally been sitting in my I have like this little brown cadenza thing. It's been sitting in there for 2 years just because I don't want to mend. If I have knitting time, I want to actually be knitting or sewing or doing something fun. So I finally got around to doing that, and also a hat that I made for my sister last Christmas also broke. So I made her hat out of Brooklyn tweed loft, and I guess I tried to tie it up with Brooklyn tweed loft, and if you know Brooklyn tweed, you know that the yarn breaks very easily. So you have to be super careful when you're knitting it. Once it's knit up into a garment, it's generally, like, the fabric is fine, but the individual strands themselves are really fragile. And I know Brooklyn tweed just came out with a new yarn, so I can't speak to the newest yarns, but Shelter and Loft, they're, like, very fragile. They're beautiful, though. So I made a whole sweater in Brooklyn tweed Shelter, which I'll show you at some point when it's cold enough to wear it. But yeah, so I tried to tie it up with the loft, and it's like got really messed up, and so I had to go back, and it was a good. I'm not showing you this right now because I already returned it to her, but it's a very lacy. Not lacy, it was very cable-y pattern. It was like a complicated cable pattern, and so it took a while to fix, and then I ended up tying it off with other stronger yarn. So yeah, I would say if you are using Brooklyn tweed to finish your edges, especially if it's a hat or something that's going to get like jostled around, finish it in another yarn. Yeah, that's definitely what I would say. Okay, so that's all of the crafting that I have for this week, but I wanted to talk about the theme of the day. So before the last couple of episodes, each episode, I've had sort of a theme to talk about our knitting. And today I want to talk about signature colors. And so a signature color, this is a description that I got from howswithz's.com, which is like an interior decorating website, but basically they say a signature color is at its heart a hue that is associated with you. Friends are reminded of you when they see your color, and a home feels more authentically you when it's woven in. Sometimes it happens accidentally, but you can also intentionally cultivate a signature hue. And so I thought this idea of having a color that is like uniquely associated with you is super fun. And I definitely think that I have a signature hue, and it's a color that I wear a lot of, and I've talked a lot about it while I've been talking about the idea of a capsule collection, but yeah, I mean, and even outside of clothing, outside of knitting, I definitely gravitate towards this color. Like my phone case is in this color too. So yeah, I will show you the yarn that I have that's the closest to my signature color. So yeah, it's like this tealy aqua color. Maybe like mine is like slightly darker than this, but yeah, I love this color. I love like, it's like a tealy turquoisey color. And if there's like ever a choice of colors that I need to make, like if I'm at the grocery store and I don't know, or if I need to like pick out a toothbrush, if there's this color, I will always choose this color. I think it's like super fun, and I like teal because it sort of like has a little bit of teal turquoise because it sort of has a little bit of green in it too. And so I definitely say that this is my signature color. But it's funny because over the last couple of days, I've been doing a lot of like preliminary wedding planning, and I think that the colors that we're going to use are sage green, which I'll put a picture of, and with hints of lavender. And it's funny because I never really thought of sage green as a color that was uniquely associated with me, but then I started looking, and like a lot of my yarn stash is sage green, and my house growing up was sage green, and it's just a color that I was immediately attracted to. And so, you know, I was on Pinterest like pinning a million wedding pins and bridesmaids dresses pins, and like it just kept coming up, and I was like, oh, it's sage, that's the color that I want. I love this color. And it looks really, really pretty with lavender as well. Not to just go on a slight tangent, but I found this really awesome Etsy store that sells dried lavender, and so I may get some like dried lavender bouquets as a way to save money instead of hiring a florist. But anyway, I think that once you know your signature color, you can use it to like really enhance your wardrobe and buy things that make you happy. So like my phone case is the color, this like tealy turquoisey color, and like it makes me happy every time I look at it. So I wanted to put it out to you guys. What is your signature color? Is this something that you've thought about before, or is this the first time that you can pinpoint what exactly your signature color is? And if you'd like to, you can post a picture in the Ravelry group for this episode. And this is not a contest, this is just for fun, but it could be a picture of yarn or just literally anything that you find on the internet that is your signature color that seems to come up in your life a lot and a color that you gravitate towards. So I'd love to see what that is. So yeah. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about what's going on in life and then wrap things up. This is a little bit of a short episode. I'm hoping that next episode I will get a lot of progress done on the old gold sweater, and so I can show you guys how that's looking. I'd like to finish it in a month or so. I don't know if that's might be a little ambitious, but that's okay. So yeah, so what's going on outside of the knitting world? Well, the election is soon. I think we're all exhausted by the election, ready for it to be over. So, but you know what? Wherever you stand, you should go vote. Everybody should go vote on Tuesday. But I think that we should all stop focusing on the election after Tuesday and start focusing on Christmas. So that's my philosophy. It's my political philosophy right now. Yeah, so also I've been planning this Christmas concert, which I talked a little bit about last week, but basically got a bunch of composers and lyricists to come together and write new Christmas songs. So we had a rehearsal for that last weekend, and it was really fun to hear everybody's different take on it, because all I said was write a new holiday song. And, you know, some people went super satirical with it. Some people were very heartfelt and wrote really beautiful ballads. Some people wrote funny songs. So it's really all over the place. So that's super fun, and that's happening at the beginning of December here in the city. So yeah, so that is super fun. I'm seeing a lot of theater lately. So I work at a theater company, so I have tickets basically for all the shows that they're doing in November. So there's 5 theaters in the building where I work. So yeah, there's about like 5 or 6 shows going on at any given point in time. And I'm also seeing Hamilton again on Wednesday. So I saw it back 2 years ago when it was off Broadway. And, you know, the show is awesome. So I really wanted to see it now that it's on Broadway. So yeah, I was actually pretty lucky that I was able to see it so early on, but I've been a big fan of Lin-Manuel Miranda for a really long time, so I knew that I liked In the Heights, so Charlie got it for me as a birthday present like 2 or 3 years ago. Yeah, so I was actually there speaking of the election, when I went to go see the show, the Clintons were there. So it was actually really interesting to, to be in a room about, the beginning of America and presidents, when a former president, a possible future president, and their daughter was in the audience. So that was pretty cool to sort of be like, what are they thinking about right now? And I wonder what their perspective is on this. So yeah, so that was pretty cool. So yeah, we're seeing that. Seeing another show Thursday. Yeah. And then next weekend we're going to have like a Friendsgiving type thing for a bunch of our friends. And so Charlie's going to cook a big elaborate meal because that's what he likes to do. So that should be really fun. I've been really into personal finance lately. So sorry if this is kind of boring for some of you, but it's exciting to me. I feel like I never really learned personal finance growing up. It wasn't really something that was ever taught in schools, and if it was, I didn't know about it. So it's something that has been kind of an interesting topic to start learning about. I've been listening to a cool podcast called, what is it called? I think it's like Money Matters, I want to say. I'll put the name of it below. But yeah, I think that's a really fun, approachable podcast if you're interested in learning more about like money management and personal finance, because I literally just have never learned about it, and I don't want to not know about it. So yeah, I've been reading some blogs and listening to podcasts about that lately. So that's been sort of a fun adventure into something I know very, very little about. So I'm learning slowly but surely. Yeah, and I think it's always good to be learning something new. So yeah, and then preliminary wedding decisions, sage and lavender, that's the color palette. We have about 6 or 7 venues that we want to visit, and we're going to start visiting those in January and February. It's funny around this time of year, because the holidays are coming up. Everything that we have to do sort of gets pushed off till January. So it's like, oh yeah, we need to do this. Like, we need to switch to FiOS. I'm like, do it in January. So we have so much on the to-do list in January right now. But that's okay, because the holidays are going to be awesome. And I'm really excited to continue my Christmas crafting and hopefully have a lovely sweater by Christmas time too. That's what I'm hoping. So I hope that you guys have a wonderful next couple of weeks. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hope you got some good knitting done over the course of the last half hour or so. And enjoy your week, and don't let the election get you down too much, no matter where you stand, and happy knitting. Bye, guys.